Welcome back to Confront Your Mind. I'm Jolynn,
I'm Tiffany. Join us as we talk about how to confront the uncomfortable in life,
while also allowing space for laughter as we learn. Hello!
Welcome back.
Well, we did not know what we were doing, honestly, to start right there. Welcome back to Confront Your Mind.
Remember to subscribe if you're enjoying these videos.
Yeah, if you
hit that subscribe button.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're enjoying it, follow us, boost us up. Don't be afraid to gas us up. We do appreciate and we're very thankful for everyone that subscribes and listens and follows us. And so we definitely don't want that to go unnoticed and unappreciated. So just know that we really appreciate it. Yes. You will be appreciated if you subscribe.
And today we're talking about just being positive and encouraging and
spreading kindness. Yeah, because we mentioned that in our last episode.
Yep.
Kind of like leaving a positive footprint.
Yes, leaving a positive footprint.
Yeah.
I've struggled a little with the title of this one.
Yeah, this title was like...
Because I looked up you know how we do definitions. I looked up a definition for kindness and I was like, I hate that. That's why I changed it, actually.
That's so us.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't feel right.
No, that's not. Yeah.
But
anyways, so we're not going to do kindness definition.
There's no definition today.
Yeah. So today's just kind of, we're going...
So sorry.
Off the walls here. But not really. We kind of have direction. We are not without direction. We're very... wink wink certain people.
Oh goodness.
I think we're in pretty silly goofy moods today.
I
feel like I say that phrase way too much.
It's okay. It's all right.
But yeah, so let's dig in, kind of talking about, you know how it reminds me of like a carbon neutral footprint.
I was thinking about that, or that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Whenever you said like the type of footprint you leave, I was thinking about like environmental like leaving a good footprint environmentally.
Yeah. In the minds of others.
Yeah. We're not talking about the environment.
Yeah. We do care about the environment, though, just in case anybody was wondering.
We do care, but not as much about the mental footprint.
Yeah.
Not as much.
Well, I think mentally, like, happy people, mentally sound, well people, like, healthy minds, like, genuinely, like, care about the world around them and, like, want to leave the world a better place.
I could see that connection.
Yeah. Because when you're confronting your mind... That's probably the worst wink in all of history.
That was pretty bad. I saw it.
I think I stuttered with my eyes. But yeah, when you confront your mind, I think you confront the world around you.
That's true.
And you choose kindness.
This is true.
Yeah. So you want to get started?
Yeah. So, I mean, the main thing that we're talking about today is just like not keeping that to yourself and like spreading positivity, because I feel like often we talk about, you know, being like working on ourselves and you know, either coping mechanisms or like how to have a better quality of life. But I feel like we just kind of wanted to focus on, you know, like sharing that with others and trying to spread the positivity around.
Spread the positivity.
Spread the positivity.
We should do that together and like spread the positivity.
Spread the positivity.
Can y'all feel the vibes?
I felt them.
I did.
Shooting all over the room.
Like sprinkles just falling all around.
Yeah, exactly.
Kindness sprinkles.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to fix this.
Yeah, you're good.
It's falling off the back of my head.
Your hair's just so shiny and silky.
It really is today. What can I say?
So healthy.
But that was the main thing, is just you know, we're gonna kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like we talk a lot about you know, how do we feel better and like how do we like make an impact on our day-to-day lives,
like for ourselves.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like one of those things when we do it for ourselves is also the impact we have on other people, because we do affect other people. And so it's like when we notice we're having a positive impact or we're being kind and we're putting kindness in the world, we're also more likely to receive that positivity and kindness back.
That's true. I feel like in the past couple of years, I've become more of a believer in karma.
Yes. The law of attraction.
That too.
Yeah. That's what I think of as karma. Like,
Yeah, I feel like karma, it's interesting because it's like, I feel like no matter what you kind of believe, whatever your belief system is, like karma is still there in each like belief system. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think there's like a theme of like karma, whether or not it's named karma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What comes around goes around.
Yeah. And
Wow.
like
I
do
said
unto
that so
others.
aggressively.
Like the, yeah, you did. It
Yeah.
seemed a little pointed. Um,
What comes
what
around
did I
goes
do?
around.
But yeah, like the do unto others, like the golden
Yeah.
rule, like, you know, there's all kinds of things that point in that way, but it really is and it's also the whole, like we talked about before, like the positive feedback loop, like,
Yeah.
you know, whenever like you said about whenever you're putting positive things out there, you're going to like, it's the same thing of like the whole, your brain notices, like whenever you're focusing on being positive, your brain is more geared that way, and so you're going to notice more positive things, and so therefore you're going to feel as if more positive things are happening because you're choosing to focus on those things instead of like the negative.
Yeah. It's like a practice.
Yeah, and that's something too, like it can, like the fact that, you know, I feel like people tend to say, you know, oh, well, you know, I'm a negative person, or I'm not a positive person, like I'm just not. And I like, that's something that you can change.
Yeah,
It's something you
absolutely.
can work on.
Yeah, I think that's like one of my favorite points about like what we talk about in confronting your mind is that we do try to focus a lot on like what's in your control, what's in your power.
Yeah.
And one of those things is like your mindset and the way you look at the world. You do have power to control that. And no, it's not easy. It's not easy to change your mindset,
Right.
but it is something that you have control over and have power to change. And so I think
And
that's
it's not always easy.
no, yeah, not at all. And I think that's one of the things I like about this, what we're talking about today, is like that kindness is like sometimes I think starting that journey of being kind, whether it's to yourself or to the world around you, is also like it's good to start that by practicing it, not only with yourself, but practicing it with the world. Like, I think that's one of the more powerful things is like when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone. I guess I'm assuming like people just aren't naturally kind.
Like you have to see what it feels like to be nice.
But it's true. I feel like it's really, especially in the world we live in, I think we see a lot of hate and destruction and hurt and pain.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find the kindness in the world. And so it's really something you have to train yourself to do and like to practice. I know that's something like we talk about a lot is like, how do we limit the negativity and the harshness of the world and like increase the kindness and the goodness in the world?
And I think the way I think of it too is that like I would like to, you know, whenever I used to assume the worst in people, and it was more of like a trust issue, but it's still, I mean, you know, like I wasn't naturally very kind to people. Like whenever, not that I was mean, but like whenever I first met somebody, I was assuming, you know, they were like out to get me or that they had bad intentions. And this is just literally anybody that I met, you know. It's like, I was
Everybody,
like, you know,
everybody's coming for you.
I was just going through it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I just naturally, that's kind of what I thought. And whenever you think the worst in people, like, first of all, you see the worst in people. But
well,
like,
your brain is looking for the evidence to show you, like, yes, you're in fact right. Like,
exactly. And I think, too, there's been people in my life that have proven me wrong in that way. Well, I don't want to name, I was going to name names that I'm not, but I
thought this person was going to be the worst human to exist. And in fact, I was wrong.
Especially in college, I had this issue and, you know, like one of my friends like called me out on it and was like, you always think like every new person we meet, like you think they're a terrible person. And
what was that like to be called out?
It was, definitely like humbling, you know. I was like, I think it was something I didn't realize that I did, you know, because I thought I was like such a protector and I was like, I got you guys, like stay away from him or stay away from her, you know. And it like I thought I was doing good and you know it like it wasn't, because it was it was founded on nothing. It was just like I've always I guess
assumptions.
It was more so like I feel like I always have thought that I've been good at like reading people, and I think I am. But you're not always right.
No.
You know? And so that's what I realized is that, you know, like there are people who, whenever you first meet them for whatever reason, like, you know, maybe they remind you of somebody from the past that you haven't liked or something that you don't realize, but then they prove you wrong. And so you realize, oh, okay, like my first impression, like I'm just really big on first impressions. And so I took them a little too far. And I was like, I have a bad first impression, you know, and I feel like whenever I lived with my roommates in college, like I was trying to protect those ladies. And so I was like, I've got bad vibes. Like my radar is going off, like,
Ding, ding, ding,
you
ding,
know,
ding.
and there were certain people that would like come over to our house and we had people over that like, I would be like, I'm not comfortable with that person, like being in my home. And so one of my friends was
Fair,
like,
though.
one of my friends was like, you know, like one of my roommates, like she was like, what, you know, what did they do? Like, what happened? You know, she's waiting for a story. Like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, nothing. I just like, I get really bad vibes from this person.
That's so humbling when you really have to be like,
yeah, like, oh, actually, there's no evidence for that.
yeah. Not saying that your intuition is, I was trying to talk with
Right.
my hand that had the mic in it. I was like, not saying that your intuition is wrong, but just like maybe.
But it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Like your intuition is not all knowing.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
omniscient.
Yeah. And so, well, because, you know, sometimes the opposite happens where you think somebody's great. And,
I know that's happened.
And then they're not. So we know
And you're
that.
like, what happened?
Yeah, you're like, oh, I misunderstood or I read them wrong or whatever, you know. But I think it has helped me a lot to, like that experience kind of helped me because there were a couple of specific people that like I was like, oh, I get bad vibes. I don't like this person or, you know, whatever. Or, you know, I would take like one thing they said and like be like, oh, I don't like that. And, you know, like sometimes people are going to say like one thing that doesn't happen to define them. But anyway,
Right.
what I learned is just that like your first impression of somebody or the first impression you get of somebody doesn't always like mean that that's exactly who they are, and how you read them or how you interpret them is not who they are. And yeah, it was like a humbling experience because I was like, okay, I need to actually give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that helped with like, you know, me thinking positively and putting more positivity out there was like interacting with people and giving them the chance of like, you know, they don't mean the worst. Like people aren't out to get you all the time.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, I think too, it's like one of those, it's like why it's important to like explore your mind and like explore your thoughts and confront yourself too, because it's one of those things that form because of protection instincts, because you have been hurt in the past by people. And so you're like wanting to like be like, okay, well, if I can assess beforehand and protect myself beforehand.
That's
but in
true.
reality, it's just a defense mechanism that is helpful. We can thank that part of ourselves, right? And at the same time realize too, like people are going to be people. Like you're going to meet people on their worst days and you're going to meet people on their best days, and that's not always who they are in the medium days. And so like you also have to give space for people to disappoint you, to surprise you, you know, to like be unexpected. And like I think that's also part of like when you're trying to practice that kindness, it's also extending that grace to allow people to be people. And not
that's
like
a really good point.
Judging them based on like that first interaction, because I definitely do that. Like I'm because I definitely have that same experience where I'm like, I'm just so good at reading people, and then I'm like, Jolynn, like you're just making assumptions about people based on like whatever, whether that be like how they're drinking their coffee or like you know, and like I've like worked a lot on like taking away assumptions, because I think assumptions is part of that negative mindset we can practice. Because you can also make positive assumptions too, is like having space for positivity and like, you know, finding those positive assumptions and letting, or just trying not to have any assumptions, like I said, and just like letting humans be humans, letting people be people, like not expecting more out of them than what they are, which is like, people are flawed. They're going to have days where they act like a total butthead, like in the Walmart checkout line. And you're going to like be like, why did you throw the banana at the cashier? Why do I always go to bananas?
Here we go again.
But you're like, why are you yelling at the waitress? Or like, why are you like throwing a fit? And like, why is this, you know, you
And
can.
I like what you said about extending grace, because when you're talking about situations like that, there are times when like I also like the thought of that you don't know like what somebody's going through.
Yeah.
Like it sounds cliche, but it really is a good thought to have of like, you know, like, yeah, like they could be having a terrible day. They could have just received bad news. Like, and you're taking that for like who they are as a person, but it could just be like a down time that they're having.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of this quote I really liked. Let me see if I can find it real
look
quick.
It up. But also what you said about the protective thing is like we can be protecting ourselves, but then we can also be like, you know, like robbing ourselves of like a good friendship, or you know what I mean? Like if you are wrong, you can also be like taking something away from yourself too.
Exactly.
By using that too much.
Yeah, like when you're putting up those defense mechanisms so much that it's keeping you, and like I think this is something I see with the generation we're in and like generations below us, is like a lot of times we're like, I can just pick up on the vibes. Like I find myself saying that, like even like one of the first titles we have is literally for this podcast is Good Vibes Only.
Yeah.
And like I like vibes are, I think we talk about vibes in the way that we like call it as like a slang term for intuition.
Yeah.
Like I'm just being intuitive. But at the end of the day, like vibes and intuitions are literally just assumptions. And so like it's a nice way of saying like, yeah, I'm judging this person based on like my first experience with them.
Yeah.
And like,
and I think it's okay to like include your intuition or include the feelings that you get from somebody. Like I think that they're important, but I don't think that they should be taken as fact, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Like it's something where it's like, I call them caution flags, right? So like we're not at the red flags yet, but we're at those like yellow caution flags. Like, hey, like I'm not sure I always feel good after I like leave hanging out with this person, or like I'm not sure I feel good when like I'm participating in this activity. And like, because you know, it's not just about people, it's also about like what you choose to do in your free time. So it's like maybe I spend like 3 hours video gaming and then I spend 3 hours playing tennis, and like maybe I feel really great after like video gaming and I want to keep doing that, or maybe I feel really great after video gaming. But it's also kind of like knowing which one affects me in a more positive way and continuing to pursue things that increase like what makes me feel good, because when I feel good I'm more likely to like make a better impact on the world around me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I found the quote.
Let's hear it.
Let me also tell you where it's from. I found it when I was like in my second semester in college. It's this show. I think it's like a Scandinavian show or Norwegian show. But it's called Scam with a K, Skam. And it's about these high school students. I
know you love that.
Yeah, you know, I'm all in it for the teenage drama. I really am. I love hearing about it. I'm like, this is great. But especially in TV shows, like I think they really do too much with the TV shows nowadays. And then I think some high schoolers are trying to replicate what they see in TV shows. But also, I don't know. I'm not in high school anymore. So, and I would never want to go back. So please don't take that and be like, oh, she's dreaming of high school. That is a lie. But this show is really good. And I watched it with English. I think it's like one of the first like foreign shows that I watched with English subtitles, because I had like I think I saw like reels on Instagram or something about it, and I was like, ooh, that looks like drama I want to watch. But anyways, one of the main characters, her name is Nora, and they made it. So also, sorry, my storytelling's just all over the place. But they also
please continue with the whole plot of the show, if you will.
I will. But they also made like versions in different countries and different language, so they have like almost the exact same show in like France and Spain, and they made like an American show. So I've actually watched like every single one, and it's like the exact same show. So
is that the one that I watched with you that one time, like for an episode or two?
You probably did.
Where they're in the garage.
I don't know.
They were just in a garage.
I don't remember. Okay. It's been a long time since I've watched it. I was obsessed. But anyways, and this was my favorite character from the show. Her name was Nora. Noora. And I know. It's I think it's different country. Anyway, so she had this quote like on her wall, and like this is kind of what she lived by. And I just really liked the quote because it says, "Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always." And I just think that is like a really good quote, and like shows too, like
that is a really good quote.
You know, you really don't know what people are doing. Like, yeah, maybe that idiot that cut you off in traffic was like cut you off and like that sucks. And at the same time, like, you know, we have no idea like why he's rushing or why she's rushing. We have no idea why they cut you off. And I think when we look at the world and look at the way people act in the world and we place negative assumptions on us, it darkens our worldview. So why not choose to have a positive perspective on something that you know nothing about and give people that grace?
Yeah. And I like that a lot. And it reminds me of a video that I've seen a couple times within like my job that I've watched during like orientations. And I don't know like where the video is from, but it's this really, it makes me cry like almost every time I watch it. And, you know, I don't like cry a lot about videos.
I know, I'm like, man, I got to go see this video now.
Yeah, you would be sobbing.
I love crying.
But this video, it's like of people in the hospital, and it's showing like, you know, like the janitor walking by, and then it's showing you know, like a patient being wheeled in a wheelchair, and it's showing a nurse like running to a room, like, so it's showing, or and then it's showing like a doctor, and so it shows like everybody, you know, like in the, it's just any random person in the hospital, right? And then just like visitors in the elevator, whatever, and it just has like music behind the video, but then for each person, you know, nobody's talking to each other, but for each person it like puts above their head like what they're going through. And so, you know, like it'll be like, you know, like just got really bad news about his diagnosis, and then like for the other person it'll be like just found out like his daughter's getting married, or like, you know, so it's like some positive, like some hard, whatever. And it's like it just like goes to show like whenever you're just like you're passing by all these people, like you see you're with 5 people on an elevator, and they're each going through something, like you have no idea like what, and it could be something really happy, or it could be something really sad, and so like you just have no idea like what's going on with other people. And it's a, I'll have to show it to you, it's a really good video, but it just really like drives home that point of like that you have no idea like what's going on, good or bad. But it's like, yeah, like giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like if somebody's snappy with you, like it does it, you know, like it also helps like to depersonalize that too. Like it's like it's not about you. Like
very rarely I think are things actually about you.
Yeah, and we tend to take things personally, you know, like if somebody snaps at us, you know, like we tend to think, you know, well, why would they treat me like that? And it's like, it's not about you. Like they're probably upset about something. It's not about the actual interaction you had. It's like something they're going through. And if you could sit down with that person and like, you know, speak with them about it and figure out what's actually going on. And I'm not saying, you know, it's an excuse to just treat people like bad, but it's just, you know, thinking, like you said, extending more grace and thinking, you know, like, yeah, they could have been nicer and they didn't have to act like that just because they're going through something. But, you know, like if I was in their shoes and I was going through what they were going through. So it's just it's like a kinder way to look at the world of like, you just don't have any idea like what people are going through. Yeah. And it doesn't mean to let people walk all over you, but just in general, like interactions, it's a good way to think.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that your feelings aren't valid in those situations. Right. Like if somebody hurts you because they're going through something, like, yeah, that's not okay. And like I think there's space to talk about that and to have improvement in it. And also too, I don't think it hurts anybody to like believe the best in people, to like have that grace for people. And
like until you're proven wrong. Yeah. It's like, and that's something I've worked on, like with the whole, like how I used to be like at the other end of the spectrum where like I thought the worst until proven wrong. And then I've tried to flip that to where like now I try to believe the best until proven wrong. And it's so much better of an experience.
Right. I mean, and yeah, same for me. Like, and I don't talk about this like, yeah, this is the way to do it. I'm like, no, like I'm talking about it because like your girl has like walked through the world. And I think, not saying like I'm some world walker, but like, you know, I think like, you know, I've like I've had that experience where I've looked at a lot of people and like assumed the worst and been like, well, you know, like have all these like negative assumptions and like, well, she's probably just being mean to me because she hates me and like thinks I'm ugly. Like, I don't know, like that's just dramatic. But like even with my husband, you know, like thinking like he's taking his stuff out on me and like and like when in reality like he's just had a bad day and he's allowed to have a bad day and like and it probably has nothing to do with me. Yeah, you know, it's like. And then, like, if it does have something to do with me, that is on him to come and talk to me about it. Like, that is not, like, it's not my responsibility to, like, go up to people and be like, are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Like, no, like if you are mad at somebody, that is your responsibility. And, you know, I think when we take responsibility for our feelings, it also creates a kinder impact in the world because it allows for more positive conversations.
That is true.
And you get to like give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm so big on giving the benefit of the doubt because I've just personally seen like how impactful that is, like for the people around me and like how they feel in my presence, but also for the but also like for me mentally. Like I feel so much better. Like I know that this episode is about like kindness and leaving a kind footprint in the world around you. I think that when you extend grace to people and you give them the benefit of the doubt, you are leaving a kind footprint. Like you're showing yourself that you make that difference in the world, but you're also showing the people around you that there are people who still like give grace. There are people who do not like look at you and look down on you because you made a mistake, because you're human. Like when you choose to like invest in the things that you love and give grace to people around you, like the way you should give grace to yourself, like the world will become a better place. Like I believe that with my whole heart, like truly
100%. And I also think too, like, I know I've noticed this, but like whenever you work on like being more positive and like, you know, you can take it one of two ways. Whenever you see that somebody's in a bad mood and say they're being harsh or they're being rude or whatever, you know, you can like stoop down to their level and like act the same, even though like, you know, you don't know why they're acting like that, but you're like, okay, like this is how we're gonna be. Or you can, you know, instead like be positive. And I've seen many times where like I've tried to practice that and like then that it like puts them in a better mood, and so you're like uplifting other people, and that's like, it's an amazing thing. And I think
I burped.
That's what I thought I heard.
But I thought I heard it too in the headset. I was like, oh God, you actually heard that one.
But that's something too, like that I had heard maybe, I don't know if it was like 2 years ago or a year ago. I don't know. But it changed my perspective of like, was talking about, I don't know where I heard it, but somebody was talking about, like I like to call it the like, why keep it to yourself method. I don't think that's what it was called, but that's what I think of it as. And it's like, we, you know, see people like, you know, we see people all the time and like think like, oh, like I really love like that shirt they have on, or like, oh, I love her nails or whatever. But you don't like share it. You just keep it to yourself, and you're like, oh, and then like it's so fun whenever you like just tell people, and it like you just like see somebody light up whenever you like tell them, like, you know, you're just checking out at a grocery store and like you're like, oh, I love your nails. Like it just like makes somebody's day that, you know, you would take the time to like notice and, you know, like tell them that you notice and just like compliment them. And just like a small compliment like can change somebody's day and just like, you know, make their mood a little bit better. And I feel like
you don't realize how much of an impact the smallest like uplifting things, like when you choose to do something small and uplifting, like it does make a huge impact. Like I could almost, like I would bet money on it, like you know, if kindness betting was allowed, you know,
if I could bet on kindness. But then it makes, I feel like it makes you, like whenever I get a compliment like in public or something,
it gasses me up the whole day.
And then it like also makes me want to do that to somebody else, you know, like it makes me want to like go find somebody and be like, I love your outfit, you know. But I just think
I like that, the why keep it to yourself method.
Because it's like, you know, like if you notice something you really like and it would make somebody's day, or it makes somebody like smile or make somebody happy, like why would you not like share it with them? And I feel like I used to be a lot more, you know, shy, and so that was my reason. Like I was like, I don't want to talk to some stranger. But it's like just interacting with people and like speaking with them, it can do like really good things, you know.
And I mean, think about the way you feel after you choose kindness. You know, I think that was a point that you had written down, is like, do you feel like you feel, I think, and I mean, this is part of that learning process. It takes time to learn, but one of the reflections when you choose to be kind versus like when you like react with like anger, not saying that anger is the bad part, but like when you react poorly and like frustration, or you choose to have a negative outlook on something, think about how you feel after you've made that decision. Like if you like, say next time you're in traffic and like somebody like does something that ticks you off, like, you know, and like you can choose to be like, oh, they don't even look where they're going, like they're such an idiot, you know, and like they probably are blank blank blank, you know. How do you feel after that versus being like, you know, they're probably in a rush and that has nothing to do with me, and you know, I'm upset and that's valid, right?
Yeah.
Like I just want, like, you know, not putting it, just choosing to have that like kinder outlook on the world, and like thinking about how you feel about it, like thinking about how you feel when you like choose the not like why keep it to yourself method. Like I like promise you, like every time I've given somebody a compliment, I don't think, and I always say don't use nevers, but like nevers and always, but there's one time that I have regretted. I was trying to give a compliment in like a roller skating rink, and like I was like, I like your outfit. I was like 13, and I was like, I like your, to this boy, and I was like, I like your outfit, and he was like, it's swag, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed.
That'd be a regret.
Yeah, that was a regret because I was like, I should have never said anything.
That's so funny.
But yeah, no, I was like, but then it didn't stop me. You know, that's like the only time I can ever remember complimenting somebody and like it didn't go well. And I don't know, like I still think about that sometimes, obviously.
I wonder if he still thinks about it too.
Probably not.
He's like, remember that little girl that told me my outfit was cool?
Yeah, she's such a loser. I felt like a loser after that interaction.
Oh my god,
that's not a feeling, but I felt very sad.
Normally, normally it goes like really well.
Yeah, normally it goes well.
Have I showed you?
It is abnormal for it to not go well. So that was not a.
Oh, sorry.
And also, funny story if it doesn't. But
have you? Have I sent you those TikToks from Raymonte?
I think so.
He's so amazing. This guy, like, he just has all these TikToks, and he's wonderful. Like, he just goes up to people in like grocery stores and will like tell them like, you know, how like hot they are.
Yes, I have seen those. Have
like
you seen
men,
those?
women, like anything. It's so funny the way he does it, but it makes people so happy.
Yeah, it does. I think, and like when we choose to spread kindness, like you can, and like that's one of the quickest ways to like, I think, to not only see the positive impact, but to feel the positive impact is like, I like want to encourage anybody that like listens to this, like your homework, like no, but like I would encourage you to like go out and like give a stranger a compliment, like, you know, or like give somebody you're close to a compliment, like do something like out of the ordinary for you. Or like if you do give compliments to people a lot, like maybe next time you see like somebody struggling to like get the door, like hold the door open for them. Or like if you're a tall person, help a short person get something off the short aisle, and if you're a short person, help a tall person get something off the short aisle, you know, like you know, find ways to like leave that kind footprint in the world around you. And I think from there, like it starts with one thing. It really does.
Yeah, and then it, like for me, I never used to do things like that ever. Like I wanted to be in. I mean, you know, I still hate going in public, but it actually has made going in public, like going out in public, easier for me and more like enjoyable. You know.
Yeah.
But now, like I feel more comfortable speaking to people. Like it also gets you good, like social skills too. Yeah. Like, you know, because you talk to strangers more and it just makes you more comfortable, but also like just creates a positive interaction. And, you know, like instead of going to the grocery store and like just being like having all negative interactions of like people being in your way and like, you know.
And no words are spoken.
Do what?
No words are spoken in those interactions.
Right. But it's like, you know, having somebody like take out the time of like purposely stopping you to like either compliment you or just like, you know, like crack a joke or something, you know, like it's just interacting with people when you don't have to, like, and you never know like who's really lonely or who just needs like somebody to like just address them and speak to them. So I mean, I don't know, I've actually had a lot of fun like doing that, like just talking to strangers. Like it's fun. It
is fun. And it's fun to like, I think, to practice like making, I don't know, like helping people feel good. You know, I think we're like that quote says, like everyone's fighting a battle we know nothing about, you know. And kindness is the way to like fight those battles. Like, we don't know what they're going through. We don't know, like,
Yeah.
you know, how they're experiencing life. Like, you know, what we do know though is like, I don't think kindness has ever, and maybe I'm wrong, you know, send us an email if we're wrong. Send us. I would love to hear it. But truly, like, I think kindness is one of those things that is priceless and like changes things.
Yeah.
And leaves a huge impact, you know.
Positive footprint.
Leaves a positive footprint.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Unless you're,
everything.
yeah. But
I'm
thank
good.
you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Remember that we're all learning.
And don't be afraid to get confrontational today.
Keep it cute.
Or this whole week, actually. Excuse me, keep it cute.
Keep it cute. Just keep it cute. All right. Bye.